Hey everybody, this is David Branderhorst, and today we're going to be talking about how to simplify making sales. Now, before we get started, if you can remember to hit that like and subscribe button to be notified of future content, that would really help out the channel, and we would greatly appreciate that. Now, if you're like most people, you dream about the idea of having your own business, the ability to chart your own course, to create freedom for yourself, to work the hours that you want to work, to have control over your schedule, to be able to decide when you want to go on vacation and how long you want to go on vacation, the ability to do work that you love, the ability to have a significant impact on people's lives and not just be told what to do and be told what you're worth and only be paid what your boss is willing to pay you. You can actually earn however much you decide you want to earn, and to set all that course. That's the part that usually gets people very, very excited, and they get this vision of what their life could look like, and they're very excited about that possibility. But then most people stop and don't do it, and the reason is as most people don't like the idea of selling. And the simple truth of the matter is, you have to sell to have a business, and because without sales, you don't have customers. Without customers, you don't have a business, and so most people look at this situation and say, even though that dream is amazing and compelling and exciting, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to sell. I don't want to be out there selling people. And the reason most people feel that way is most people feel like selling is manipulation. They look at this situation and they feel like, yeah, going out and selling people, it's just all about coercing people. It's about manipulating people. It's about convincing people to do something that they very well may not want to do and may not even be in their best interest to do, just so you can make money and get sales. And a lot of people don't like that, and they don't like how that feels, and as a result, they don't want to be involved in that, and they don't do it. And a lot of that is because we've had experiences like this, where we, possibly went to buy a used car or a different car at some point, and we were met by a salesperson who was just always trying to do everything possible to get us to buy. Just, no matter what we said, no matter what we did, no matter what happened, he was just constantly on our tails to try and get us to buy. And it just left us feeling really bad. It left us feeling just really, really icky. And we walked out and going, I feel like a piece of meat that they were going after, and everyone was trying to get a bite out of it. And that's a terrible feeling. And so you have this feeling of like, if that's what sales is, then I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to be that sleazy. I don't want to be that manipulative. And so a lot of people walk away from their dream as a result of that. But I want to challenge you and get you to think about something else. Have you ever had a time where you met somebody who was your perfect customer? In other words, you talked to them and you said, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is the service that I offer. This is what I can do for you. And the other person's like, wow, that sounds amazing. That's exactly what I need. You could do this for me? And yeah, I could do that for you. And in fact, a while back I had one of these. I had a person who I was talking to, a person that I met with, and wanted to learn more about what it was that I was doing, and I was explaining some of the things and how this works and how that works and what we can do with this and what we can do with that. And I wasn't even done explaining things by any means. I hadn't even started to talk about what it costs or what it was about. I was just telling them what we do and the service that we provide. And he interrupts me and goes, David, stop talking. Just tell me how to buy. I'm sold. I don't care. Just tell me, how do I get started? How do I do this? Because this is exactly what I want. And in that situation, you walk away from it and you go, that wasn't icky at all. That wasn't sleazy at all. It was actually the customer was telling me, I want to pay you. I want to hire you. I want to give you money. And at the end, all you have to do is you just got to get to the handshake. And if you can get to the handshake, everything else is done. Everything else is taken care of, and it's no problem at all. And you walk away from that experience feeling very differently. There was no manipulation. There was nothing sleazy about it. You just really were sharing the value that you provide and the things that you can do. And the customer was like, bam, let's go. And you may be asking the question, well, what's the difference between those two experiences? And some people would say, well, the first person is very sleazy and very manipulative. That's who they are. They're always trying to sell you something, no matter what. They're always selling. And the other person is just a helper, a nice person, a person that's, showing what you can do. And I want to challenge you on that idea. I want you to think about this a little bit differently. That maybe the difference isn't necessarily the person, maybe it's something else. And I'm not saying that some people aren't sleazy salespeople. There are those people out there. But I want you to think about this question. Maybe the problem isn't sales. Maybe the problem is who you're talking to. And so I want you to think about this. What is the difference in those two scenarios? The first one is somebody's trying to manipulate you. Someone's trying to control you. Someone's trying to talk you into doing something that you don't want to do. And in the second situation, the customer's saying, how do I buy? The difference isn't necessarily in the sales process. It's not in the product. It's not in the service. It's in who you're speaking to, who is in front of you. So the question you need to be asking yourself is, in all of this, is do you have a means of generating a steady flow of qualified prospects for your business? Because I want to challenge you to think about this. If you could figure out a way to have a consistent flow of people who were good prospects for you, who were the right people, how hard would selling be? Not very hard at all. Or if you just had a room full of people that weren't good prospects for you, it would be very difficult. I'm sharing this with you. I've had times where I've gone to speak to different groups and be involved in presenting different things. And at the end, I was allowed to make an offer of what it is that I'm doing. And I've had times where I spoke to people, and those people just at the end of my presentation, they looked at me like I had three heads. They looked at me like I was this crazy person, and like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. I don't get what you do. And next, very few people bought, if any. And it was a very frustrating, discouraging experience. And you felt like you were trying to, at that point, convince people to buy because this could help them and they don't get it and they're not interested. And I've also had other times where I went and spoke to an audience and those people were like, bam, there was a line. There was a line of people. And I gave basically the same talk. I spoke on this same topic in a similar fashion, in a similar way, and all of a sudden those people were jumping at the opportunity to work with me. Now, the difference wasn't my presentation, it wasn't me, those two things were the same both times. The difference is who I was speaking to. And because the second time I was speaking to a group of people that were the right type of prospect for me, those were the type of customers that are perfect for what I do, selling was easy. Selling was no problem at all. It was more showing them the value of what I do, explaining how things work and what I can do for them, and then as a result of that, showing them how to sign up. And it wasn't sleazy, it wasn't manipulative, it wasn't any of those things. It was simply showing what I can do and making the offer. So I want to challenge you on this. Do you have a means and a method to generate qualified leads for your business? And when I say qualified, I just don't mean any leads. I mean leads of people who are good, qualified prospects. Because maybe your problem with selling isn't actually selling. Maybe your problem with selling is who are you speaking to? And do you have the ability to create a following, to create leads of people who are good qualified prospects that when you speak to them about what you do, they're going to be excited at the opportunity to work with you? So think about this. Think about your business and think about what you're doing. Are you generating qualified prospects on a consistent basis? Because if you are, I can almost promise you, you're more than likely making a good amount of sales. If you are not generating good qualified prospects in a consistent manner, you're going to be struggling to make sales. Because now you're in a situation where you're becoming desperate and you're trying to convince people to buy that probably aren't a great fit for what you do. So I want you to think about that. Instead of focusing on necessarily on how you can become more, a better salesperson and a more sneaky and more have better tactics for selling people and all that, and worry about that and have your conscience bother you for doing sales in that way. Think about, what am I doing to get in front of the right people? And how can I do that in such a way that I consistently build a bigger and bigger audience of those people? Because when I do that, my odds of selling go straight up. My odds of selling are going to go up, 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 and I'm going to become better and better and better at this. And this is going to become easier and easier and easier, and the sales will just start to take care of themselves. So Think about that. How can you set up a process to generate a consistent flow of qualified prospects for your business? And when you do that, life is about to get a lot more easier and a lot more profitable for you. So I hope this was very helpful to you. If you have questions, as always, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and I will look forward to seeing you again very soon.